Already watching, we will go ahead and get started in a couple minutes. Oh, we're good. All right, cool. Let's do it. So welcome everyone to the one sentence story, how collaborative Scratch Jr. facilitates socio-emotional learning session. My name is Jess Blake West, and I am from the Devtech Research group. I'm a Scratch Jr. learning experience designer, so I work directly with Scratch Jr. and then kind of everything around that as well. I'm really interested in how we can get kids to promote really positive development through their use of all technologies, specifically Scratch Jr. And today we're going to be talking and working together on how we can do this with Scratch Jr. So before we get started, later on, I will give a little welcome to my co-spotlight presenters, but just quickly, we have Francisca, Tess, and Bella with us. They're going to be our spotlight guests. So this is a collaborative workshop, but if you, for any reason, don't have the ability to participate in the workshop yourself, I will be spotlighting these guests and you'll be able to watch their work process to get an idea of what we're talking about here. Okay. So a little bit of housekeeping. So as I said, this is going to be an interactive workshop session. So if possible, please go ahead and grab a device with Scratch Jr. on it. I've listed all of the device requirements here below. So I'm just going to give everyone a quick second to do that. I'm going to take a drink of water. It's also possible to get the desktop version as well. It's unofficial, but we absolutely welcome the use of that if you have a device that isn't included on the screen. Okay. All right, so the objectives today are learning about how we can strengthen socio-emotional learning in the classroom. And this is specific, we're talking about Scratch Jr., so early childhood education, children ages 4 to 8. They are just starting to learn all the skills of interacting with each other and working together and communicating and everything like that. So this is a really important time to work on our socio-emotional skills in the classroom. And then we are going to learn how we can use Scratch Jr. specifically to promote these positive behaviors that we want to see. So just briefly, we are all from the Devtech Research group, which is the co-creators of Scratch Jr. And in addition to creating Scratch Jr., we also work on all of the curriculum and pedagogy that we want to have surround Scratch Jr. with, rather. So our 4 pillars of pedagogy are coding as a playground, coding as another language, coding as a bridge, and coding as a palette of virtues. And to learn more about all of those, I encourage you to go check out our website. Maybe one of my spotlight guests could toss that link in the chat if that would be great. Thank you. But today we're going to be focusing specifically on these 2 pillars. So we're going to be talking about the coding as a playground pedagogical framework, and then also the coding as a palette of virtues metaphor. So getting right into it. Coding as a playground. The way that we view coding with Scratch Jr. and Scratch is that it's a place for kids to play and to take risks. And the pictures I have here are of a playground and a playpen. And so I want everyone to kind of think about the comparison between a playground and a playpen. A playpen is very safe, but also you might get a little bored after a while, right? So kids can play and parents can feel confident. They leave their kids over in the playpen and the kids aren't going to go anywhere. They're not going to take too many risks, but they'll be fine for a little bit, 15 minutes max, I would say, right? In the playground, kids are not going to get bored. They're going to be playing with each other. They're going to do teamwork. They're going to try new things out. And they're also going to take some risks and maybe fall down and get back up. And all of that is learning opportunities for how we can make ourselves better humans. That being said, parents will still be kind of on the edge, making sure no one gets too hurt, anything like that, just as we will in the coding playground. That's why we, as educators, will provide scaffolding for kids to kind of stay along the route that we're thinking, but for the most part, this is a child-led exploration of coding and of life more broadly. So within this coding playground that we talk about, we look for 6 behaviors. Behaviors being communication, collaboration, community building, content creation, creativity, and choices of conduct. We can call them the 6 C's. And they make up the Positive Technological Development Framework, which you can read about more on our website. Bottom line is these are the behaviors that we look for in a typical playground, but also a coding playground that let us know that there's some positive development going on. If the kids are working with technology but not communicating, we want to change that. We want to have kids be working together and talking through their ideas. We want them to share their projects in the community and ask for feedback and share what was hard about their projects. We want them to create new things and be creative, but also just produce a bunch of stuff, all this fun projects. You know, Scratch has all of these fantastic projects. Scratch Jr. does too. And then finally, choices of conduct. So the example I would give here is if a child cuts one another on the slide, the line for the slide, they're going to have to think through how they are conducting themselves on the playground, and they're going to have to talk through it and say that wasn't fair. That same exact thing applies to the coding playground, where whether it be sharing devices or whether it be commenting on other people's projects, maybe feelings might get hurt. And these are all very typical things in development that we want to embrace and find the positive things of. So now into our next pillar, we have coding as a palette of virtues. So I just talked about behaviors, but now we're also going to think about kind of the virtues and values that go into these behaviors. And so the 2 pictures I have here are compared. So you have one with our palette of virtues, and these are just 10 virtues as little paint blobs on a painter's palette. And the reason they're on a painter's palette is because paint can be mixed and matched and new colors can be created all the time. This by no means encompasses all the colors that exist, right? So, and that's the same with human values and virtues. These are just 10 that we've seen from 20 years of work at Devtech to know that, yeah, these things come up in the coding classroom, but by no means are these the only ones. And we present it as a palette because we say to teachers, you guys are the painters, or rather teachers and kids, you guys are the painters. You mix and match based on your own culture, based on your own interests, based on your own classroom. Everything changes with context. And so we encourage people to use different virtues and values as they see fit. We'll compare that to the blank palette. And I'll go to my next slide to explain that a little bit more. So if you have a blank palette, then there's really nothing coloring your behaviors. Your behaviors can be neutral. They could also be negative. So to communicate, you can communicate very neutrally. You could communicate negatively, maybe by an insult or, just being angry with someone and not really communicating that in a positive way. Or you could color those behaviors with your values. You could work on being honest and fair and practicing gratitude. Saying thank you is a positive way to communicate. And so we show this like that. So the painter's palette then colors our behaviors. And so these are the 2 ideas that we want to bring into the coding playground. We want kids to be working to discover their own virtues and values and how those will then influence their behaviors in the coding playground. So throughout today's workshop, I strongly encourage everyone to think about when they're practicing these behaviors and what virtues and values come up when you're practicing these behaviors, because you may not think it's obvious that, community building happens with Scratch Jr. because Scratch Jr. doesn't have the online community. Scratch Jr. is just on the tablet. So you might ask, how can we build a community? And today we're going to show you. So just be mindful of all of these virtues, all of these behaviors, and how they're coming up for you, but also how you could bring them back to your own contexts and see how they could appear, change, anything like that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a deep dive into one of the lessons that we have from our Coding as Another Language curriculum. A little bit about this curriculum first. So as I said, Devtech works to create technologies, but then also works to make all of the resources that support these technologies. And one of our primary resources that we have is this Coding as Another Language curriculum. This curriculum covers kindergarten to second grade, so ages 4 to 5 through about 7 to 8. It is 24 lessons per grade, each at about 45 minutes long. And the whole idea of the curriculum is that it positions coding in parallel to learning literacy. So children between the ages of 5 and 7 are just learning to read and write. And so we take advantage of that kind of critical period of learning literacy and learning a system of representation and how to express yourself and slide in coding there because it's the exact same, well, not the exact same thing, but it's also a way to express yourself. It's also a system of symbols that you can put together to make meaning. And so because of that, we've created this curriculum that can be integrated into classrooms that may not have room for a coding block. We say here, in your literacy block, you can do both. You can teach literacy, have kids learn about sequencing while also learning about algorithms, because the two go hand in hand. And of course, if you're curious to learn more about the Cal curriculum, please reach out to any of us or check out any of our resources. I'll have some of my spotlight guests put our resources back in the chat. Okay. So today's deep dive is we're going to be looking specifically at how we can do Scratch Junior in a really collaborative way, because there are many, many ways for children to practice their values and virtues and practice these positive behaviors. And we think that one of the kind of, low-hanging fruits is to collaborate with one another. When kids are working together, they are bound to learn a lot about each other and about themselves. It's not always easy. I'm just going to say that at the beginning. It's not always easy to work together, and that's where the good learning happens. And so with Scratch Junior, we want to bring that to the classroom. We want to bring kids doing Scratch Junior with each other, having to talk to each other and kind of test things out, not just on their own device, but across devices. And so the activity that we're going to be showcasing today and actually practicing today is called the One Sentence Story. And so I've just highlighted it's lesson 10 in our second grade curriculum. And the idea is that in a classroom, children will start tablet-free, device-free, and go around and just tell a story. One child will start with the starter sentence, and then they'll pass it off to the next child, and they will say the next sentence of the story. You can imagine the child that's saying the first sentence might have a very clear idea of how the whole story is going to go, and are going to have to learn to adapt and work together when the second child goes in a totally different direction. So that's kind of the fun of it though, right? So every child is going to go around in a circle and have one sentence of this story. And together, all of these sentences combined will make the classroom story. That is the first part. That's our warm-up. Then we get into the Scratch Junior time of it, where now kids take their sentence and program it in Scratch Junior. And this will become a multi-tablet project. So each child's tablet will have their sentence of the story. And at the end, when we come together as a community to share our story, each child will line their devices up and play it one by one. They'll have to coordinate with each other, the timing of all of it. They'll play it one by one, and they'll watch their entire story play out in Scratch Junior all together. Now, might sound simple, might not sound simple yet. I don't know. I'm going to tell you now, it's not that simple. It's hard. And that's where the good learning comes in, right? So kids are going to have to talk about what characters they're using, what backgrounds they're using. How does your character move? I don't want my character to be walking up and down in the first one, but then walking super, super straight in the second one, because it's the same character, because we're all telling the same story, right? So we have to think about working together and really building off of each other's projects, seeing what other people are doing and adapting. And all of that, you have to practice many different virtues and values. You can see here, we've highlighted a few on the curriculum page. So we talked about fairness and open-mindedness. So you have to be fair and listen to everyone else's stories, even if you want to listen to your own. And that's a very hard thing. That's developmentally, children ages 5 to 7, that is a huge thing to think about a sentence that's not their own. And so we want to honor that, and we want to give them time and space to practice listening to other people. Same goes with open-mindedness. So they have to think about other ways their story could go. They might be very set on their sentence, and that's okay. And they're going to practice expanding that a little more. And then the behaviors that we're seeing are community building and collaboration. These are just highlighted. I encourage you to think about how all of the behaviors we talked about and all of those virtues and values, if not more, could come up in your context. So with that, first, I was just about to get into it, but I got too excited. I have a few examples just to give you an idea, because today, as you can imagine, we are not all sitting next to each other in a circle. So we're going to have to adapt this a little bit to be a virtual collaboration. Luckily, I hope that many of you have the ability to type, which is not always the case for ages 5 to 7. So I think with our context, we're going to be able to adapt it pretty well to a virtual collaboration. But with kids, I strongly encourage, if possible, to do it in person. I think it's a great learning opportunity. So here are 2 pictures from when we've tested it out. You'll see me in one and then Bella in the other. We both ran this workshop with kids. And it's fun. This is just an example of how you can see in the picture of Bella with the kids, she's written every sentence of the story up on the board in a different color so kids can refer back to their sentence. And this is also an opportunity for them to practice their reading and writing skills as well. So in this case, Bella wrote it out, but the kids are going to have to refer back to it and practice their reading. And then, of course, they have to be patient and let the project play out. So I'll show a quick video. So here is the project playing out and kids practicing their patience of being quiet and listening in.
Friend on the way, right? And then go to Barry's house. And they're in space now. They're gonna eat cupcakes on the moon. This is crazy dance party music, huh? On the moon? I like that song. Oopsie. Oh, wait, yeah, now we'll go to this one. And
so I hope everyone was able to see it. This is a smaller group. It's only about 5 children, but it can be expanded. So you could do many, many more kids, I will say as many devices are possible, but also another activity is having kids work together on one device. So really you're not even limited by the amount of devices. It's just as many kids that want to contribute to the story. I encourage you to try it out. I will say it might get a little harder as it becomes a bigger group. Take that as a challenge. Maybe start off with 2 small. If you've got a classroom of 30 kids, maybe start off with, 3 groups of 5 and build your way up. So anyways, that's what I'll say. But all right, so for today, now we get to the good stuff. This is the workshop portion of it. So what we're going to do today is we are going to try this out. We'll see how it goes. We might have to debug this together, and that's okay. We're going to learn to persevere. We're going to try creating a story all together. And so I'll bring my spotlight guests on. Feel free to, well, you guys are out here. You can say hi. Say hi to everyone. They're waving. Cool. Okay, but here, so if everyone could just follow this link, and let me, if a spotlight guest could put that link in the chat as well. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using a Miro board. And no worries if you've never used Miro, I am going to give you a live tutorial. So let me just stop my share for a quick second and get us up on our Miro board. Okay. Are we seeing that? Let's see.
Sometimes people cannot see things.
Bella,
but
you're muted.
Very random. Oh. I turned on.
Yes, it's not now. It's sharing, but not everyone. Yeah.
All right. I'll check the chat quickly. Can everyone see the Miro board? I see tons of people on. This is awesome. Okay, great. All right. So I'm going to keep sharing my screen throughout this. I'll probably stop a few times so that we can see our Spotlight guests projects. But for the most part, I'm going to kind of walk you through and narrate how it's going. So as you can see here, we have our instructions. And so I'm going to say these, so no need to read them too closely, but feel free to always refer back to these. Over here, there is a template. So please do not enter your name on the template, but feel free to copy and paste it if all the other groups get filled up. So now I'll zoom out a little bit. I'll show you I have built 6 groups for us. And so correct me if I'm wrong, you should be able to add your name under the group members list right here. So testing, but I'll delete that so that someone can have it. Okay, let's see. I am gonna hide. Okay, there we go. I actually just hid everyone's cursors. So you'll be able to see everyone's cursors, but so it's a little less distracting here. I hid everyone's cursors. But you can go ahead and add yourself to a group. And those are going to be your virtual collaborators. So you might not be able to see each other, but that's why we have these fun little sticky notes here. So this is going to be our mechanism for asking questions, making comments, and working together, right? So you can imagine in the in-person classroom, kids would be doing this by looking over each other's shoulders and walking across the room. For this, since we're all virtual and spread across the world, we're going to use our sticky notes. So as you put your name into your group members, oh, this is awesome, go group 5. I'm going to zoom in on our Spotlight group. So the way that this is going to work is that everyone will be working kind of in parallel. I'll walk you through each step. And as you're working, I'm just going to narrate what our Spotlight group is doing so that you can follow along if you're not able to use Miro, or if you don't have a device or anything like that, or if you're watching a recording. So, okay, so here we have, I've already put in their names, so they have no option of who's going first and second. But essentially, we have 6 spots in there, so they're each going to do 2 sentences for us. And I've put their names 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those will correspond to the sentences. So if you have put your name in 1, for your group member, you're going to be the first sentence. Lucky you. If you've put your name in spot 3, you will be the 3rd sentence. So I'm going to take some time. I'll walk everyone through this. So if everyone in their spot 1 could write their first sentence. And let me give a little bit of time. Let's make sure we've all got good groups. Great. I see a group there. Awesome. Okay, I wonder, maybe group 5 and group 2 could combine. Well, there's 3. Yeah, you're fine. Cool. Well, if anyone is missing a spot, feel free to just join a group. It's okay to have 7 sentences. We're fine with that. It's okay to have 3. There's not really a right way to do this. We're all just learning. So, okay, looks like, yeah, group 3, Sandra, if you want to go find... Oh, it looks like Kimberly might be joining you. All right, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, but feel free to jump in whenever. I'm going to just show our spotlight group. So Bella, if you could please put your first sentence on. And feel free to unmute and just talk us through it too, because I'm sure that other people are going to be looking at their own boards. So if they want to hear,
Can you hear
what you're saying? Yep, good.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm just starting. My first sentence, inspired by the project that you guys saw an example of, is thinking about vacation. So Kat is my character that I chose. I just pulled up my ScratchJr project, which comes with Kat, and I typed in Kat is packing for vacation. So I'm going to add a sticky note now referring to what background I'm going to put in, and then any other kind of like details that I want to add, I'm going to put a sticky note for as well.
Sorry, I'm playing around with the thing. Let me lock it. There you go. Oh, what just happened? I wonder, is there a visitor that maybe just pasted in a very big square? I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Sorry, visitor. So try your best to just stick with the text boxes that we've put in. I'm pretty sure every template has been locked. If not, just let me know and I can go ahead and lock it. But all right. Okay, back to you, Bella. Sorry about that. Kat is packing for a vacation. All right. So now, and as we go, I'd like everyone in their groups. So first group member, please put in your sentence. All right. Second group member, let's go.
Great. So now that Kat is packing for vacation, I just thought that Kat would love to learn how to dive. And I will start working on my ScratchJr. I will add maybe a background and a character for Kat.
Great. And I'm just going to call out user named Olivera. If you could just please deselect everything and just click kind of normally on the screen, because it's kind of given us a shadow here. So if you're the user that has selected every box, please deselect, because we're kind of seeing it in a shadow. But anyways, we can still see. So let's keep going. All right. So Kat is packing for a vacation. Kat would love to learn how to dive. All right. So now for every group, sentence 3, please.
I'm going to put for our group, Kat goes to a diving lesson on a boat. So I'm going to have Kat go to a diving lesson on a boat. I'm going to type that in, and then I'm going to go turn on my automatic light that turned off.
I am going to keep working on my ScratchJr project. I'll try to show my little screen to the best that I can so you guys can kind of still see what we're doing. But the last thing that I put was I put 2 sticky notes up. I had the original sticky note saying I was adding the bedroom background. And so the next thing that I added was that I am going to make Kat move around the room. So that is going to be the blocks that I'm going to choose. So I'll probably choose some of my motion blocks here. And then I also added that I'm going to add a new character because I want to add a suitcase for Kat to pack. And since there's not a suitcase character, as you guys know, there are so many characters in ScratchJr, but the beauty of it is you can make your own character as well. So I am going to create a shape that looks like a suitcase in the paint editor. And I will play around with that, and then I'll let you guys know where I'm at. And then everyone else will continue working, and we'll have our new lovely Miro board up. So thank you all for your patience with this, and we appreciate those sharing kind words and participating kindly in this project. So thank you.
Sorry, Jess, before you continue, but I just sent the link for the new Miro board. Hopefully nobody will be playing around with it, and we will be able to continue working on this.
this is an amazing project. So we want everybody to have the opportunity to get
Francisca,
work
did
on
you
it.
share the link that I shared you? Because I think we're actually we're not gonna online collaborate. I think in response, I think it is someone in this session, and it makes me really sad that someone is using it that way. So this is unfortunately not going to be an online collaboration. We're just going to have an interactive panel, and we're going to get to watch our wonderful people. So let me, I'm just going to make a different Miro board, and we're not going to share it with everyone. So it'll just be our people, and we're just going to get to watch. And I'm so sorry again for those that aren't able to participate online. This is not the Scratch guidelines that we like to follow with Scratch or ScratchJr, and I'm very disappointed. So anyways, let me go ahead and just share with my team. So my team, I'm gonna just email you guys the chat, or sorry, email you guys the link to the new Miro board. And we're just going to go ahead and use that. So I'll share my screen with this one. I think that should be good. All right. So my team, are you guys able to get back on here?
I am in the process of pulling it up, practicing my virtue of patience.
Yeah, so I guess this is an opportunity for us while we wait. This is an opportunity for us to talk about our virtues and values. So here, one of our main ones is kindness and inclusion and fairness. And so with that, we don't usually like to have unkind words shared. And so I'm practicing my perseverance right now because this is not how I planned it to go, and that's okay. We are debugging our project, as I said. So anyways, let me know, members, and if it's not going to work, that's okay. We can just narrate it.
Can you add me to the board, Jess?
Sure.
Thanks.
I also need access.
Yeah,
Oh,
I requested to be added.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Here, I'm just gonna go ahead and unshare for while I figure this stuff out. Okay.
Well, for now, maybe I can just
Let's keep going. Let's just keep going.
My project, I am working on the background because I wanted Cat to go to the beach, right? And he just saw someone diving in the ocean. So I don't know if you can see. So I am working on that to see how his vacations go.
Francisca, can you show me your beach again? Because I'm going to use that to to build on, because that's where I'm going to put my boat on the same beach, expanding on our story. Great. So I'm going to put my boat on the same beach.
Perfect.
For Kat
So
to go to the class on the boat.
yeah, and this is a typical situation that we promote to happen all the time while working with the kids on this activity. We want them to ask each other how they can help, or how are you doing it, or I cannot fix this, so show me. So now I showed Tess what beach I had, and then she will keep working on that to continue telling the story that we're building on.
Yeah, I saw someone in the chat mention about holding up the iPads. It's actually something that we use quite often with the kids to go through. So I thought I would just maybe mention that and kind of how that plays out. Obviously, it's a little hard to hold everything up and see it, but we often like to tell the kids that sharing their screen is kind of like reading. You don't share it really close. You can't read this close to your face. As soon as you have to move it around and focus it, so we do the same thing for showing in our camera. and we promote practicing patience, trying again, everything just so they can get it and know that we want to see their project and that we will get to see it. And then anyone else wondering about what I've been working on, I got my wonderful suitcase up.
Yeah.
And now I'm using the grid to map out where my blocks will go and the parameters on my blocks. So still working hard on my first page as Francisca and Tess work on the next one. And then I'm going to go back and add kind of another sentence, which could be our potential third page. While they're not on the same tablets, we can show them in the order that they would be displayed. Say we were all lined up like you saw in the picture, the video we line them all up in front of each other. In this chance, we could kind of hold them up one at a time at the screen.
Okay, I'll just jump in here. So to my team members, I believe the board should be all set for you guys. And then Bella and Francisca, because you guys are in the same room, please make sure to mute when the other person is talking. Thank you. Okay. So as we get back on the board, I will just read aloud. So, and Audrey, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to share the template. We're not going to be able to do this collaboratively because we had some difficulties. So we're just going to have to follow along. I can share a template afterwards that you can use in a private setting. But unfortunately, we can't do that today. So I will read out because it's hard. We don't have a visual yet. But right now, our sentence 1 is Kat is packing for a vacation. Sentence 2, Kat would love to learn how to dive. Sentence 3, Kat is going to a diving lesson on a boat. All right. So, Bella, I know you're working on your sentence 1 already, but do you have a sentence for us to follow that Kat is going diving lesson on a boat?
Ooh, okay. So what's going to happen next after we go on our boat or the lesson? Let's see. And that's something the kids like to negotiate too, is kind of like where the story goes next. Because obviously one child could decide what the sentence is, but sometimes you have to be informed by what everybody else wants to do as well. So I think for sentence 4, I want to, I can't quite write in here, but
it's
I just can't type on sentence 4 for some reason. But for sentence 4, I want to type Kat explores the ocean, and that'll be what I will program next. I'm also about to add an image to our project so that you guys can all kind of see. Ooh, it's very big, but I'm going to make it small now, of what my first page looks like. So far, my program's very short, but again, some of these kids are starting the same place, not much time or not many skills, so we love that.
Are you on this board, Bella?
I am. Did you see? I just put my picture on sentence 1. Interesting. Maybe I'm in. I see you guys moving around. Can you see it now? Maybe I'm on the wrong file.
All right, well, no worries on sharing the image because we can just, I'm just going to have this up for the sentences and then we can stop sharing the sentences and we can just show it ourselves. So sentence 5, Francisca, do you have a sentence for us that can fall? Sorry, actually, Bella, let me finish typing it. Explores the ocean. That's it? Cool. All right, sentence 5. I can add it, Francisca. Don't worry about typing.
I did it, but now all the square that says our story is empty.
Yeah.
Francisca,
I also
you're
lost
here.
all the sentences.
I found it. There. It was far away from
here. You can just look at my screen.
There. But I added one because
so Francisca, you're
to...
muted.
Oh. No, I am not.
I could hear you.
Oh, maybe it's a problem on my end.
So I added one more sentence because I want to go with Kat too. and I will work on adding another character that's going to be myself, trying to go with cat.
Okay, how about Francisca, maybe you want to put it in the chat because I can't hear you. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a problem on my end, or Bella, if you can hear her.
What were you saying?
That I want to go on vacation with cat.
I want to go on vacation with cat.
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me refresh. I might.
I am about to add some sticky notes on my end. And for my second sentence, I'm going to add which background I selected and the other characters that I'm going to use because I am making an underwater scene. So I'm going to add some of the other fish and the fun characters that are around. If I want to get into programming them, I could do that as well. So I'm going to add some sticky notes now.
I'm also going to add the sticky notes of some of the characters who are on the boat in class, also diving.
I'm working on another page because that's going to be me right in the city. So sad because I'm missing cat's vacations. And I will try to talk and say that, cat, bring me with you.
So here, let's get all of our sentences written up, and then we can just go ahead. I'll stop the share and we can show and talk through. So sorry for my technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on. Is sentence 5 correct? Yep. And then what about sentence 6? Tess, can you put it in the chat? Because I'm not sure. It's showing that you're muted on my end.
I'm trying to think of what sentence 6 is going to be. So cat explores the ocean. I want to go on vacation with cat. And we're all having a party underwater. So we're all having a party underwater.
So I see that Tess is maybe thinking ahead to some of the backgrounds that exist in Scratch Junior. That's a good way to have kids kind of think about how they can work together, is that they could kind of choose the backgrounds that they want to use throughout their story and then build off of that. So great. Okay. So right now, everyone take a good look at the sentences. My spotlight guests, remember your sentences, because I am now going to stop our share and we are just going to talk through for the remainder of this session. We're going to do what we were saying is holding up our tablets and showing our projects. Sounds good? Okay, fantastic. All right. Okay. So how's it going? Talk to me, team.
I'm putting some people on the boat.
Okay. Great.
I'm trying to finish my code for my second page.
I'm currently working on my second sentence, or my second sentence, second page. But when I was working on that, I remembered something that I forgot on the first page. So I went back and added that to my program. I realized actually, now I'm realizing I might not need it. See, this is the process. We're always revising and debugging.
May I ask? What's it?
Oh, so I was thinking that I needed to add a go to page block at the end of my program because then my story would lead into the next page. However, my sentences are not next to each other in our written out story. So I actually don't need the go to page block because I'll be playing my pages one at a time when it gets my turn to read my sentence. So it's just a way that we're kind of adapting the project because my Scratch Junior coding brain said, oh, you should use that block, but I don't necessarily need to.
Yeah. So what Bella, if in case anyone's not familiar with Scratch Junior, when you're making a story on your own in your tablet, you can use this handy go to page block that takes them right from page to page. In this case, when we're doing multi-tablet stories, we're actually not using the go to page, and we have to use our communication skills to coordinate when each tablet gets played in sequence. So we're going to have one tablet play, then the next. And I think it's going to be a little funky if we show it on our screen, because I bet that you guys aren't in order of which sentences, but people will just dart their eyes around. That's okay. Okay. How's it going, Tess?
Which underwater scene are people using for being exploring underwater?
This is the background that I used.
Okay.
And if you want to put any of the same characters in, these are the characters that I'm putting here. And I was going to add one more fish. So you're welcome to use the same characters if you want or not. We can always meet new sea creatures in our new underwater party.
Yeah. Oh, these are the people who are in swimming class. So we have, I believe that's Tack, or Tick, and also the diver. If they want
the diver is a good idea.
If they want to also go underwater. Yeah, I have the diver as the teacher.
So while you guys continue to work, I'll answer a few questions I'm seeing in the chat. So the objective is for each student to code their own sentence, and then together it will make the entire story. So they only are responsible for their sentence, but they have to work together to make sure that their tablet and their project will seamlessly incorporate into the next sentence. And then if you're looking for the printable Scratch Junior blocks, I believe they're under the Teach tab on the Scratch Junior website, and then going to Resources.
I wanted to show something that we use a lot called initializing our characters. So when you put a block in your programming area down here and it's not connected to a program, it will actually make changes to our character and how the program plays out. So for my fish, when I first put my fish in, you can see over here, it's pointing this way because that's the default orientation of the character. But I wanted my fish to swim the other way. So I brought down a blue block from over here that was pointing in the direction that I want my fish to go. And then I pressed it here and it changed the orientation of my fish so that it can go the other way.
Bella, which was the other sea creature you used besides the green fish?
I used the crab and the duck.
Oh, okay.
So far. I think that's what I'm going to go with since just for times.
And so let's see, what's our progress team? So sentence 1 coded. Cool. Sentence 2 coded. Francisco, sentence 2 and 4 coded. Okay, great. And then Tess, where are you at? You're on sentence 6?
I'm on sentence 6. I'm putting in characters. I'm putting in characters.
Okay, awesome. So I think what we're going to do here is we're getting pretty close, but one thing that we talk about with both Scratch Junior and Scratch is the design process and how it's iterative, right? So we create and we share, and then that's our sharing is really more of our testing and improving. So what I would like to propose is that I kind of rush you guys into a first share and we see where we're at. And then we can group back together and do a little adjusting. How about that? So we can kind of see where we're at, especially because our lovely audience members can't see what you're doing. So, okay. So sentence 1, are we ready? All right, sentence 1, Kat is packing for a vacation. Nice. Sentence 2, Kat would love to learn how to dive. All right, sentence 3. Kat is going to a diving lesson on a boat. Kat explores the ocean. I see some parallel programming there. Great. I want to go on a vacation with Kat. We're all having a party underwater. Nice. All right, so let's pause. Team members, what do you notice? Is there anything that you think you could improve in a way to make it one seamless story?
Something that I noticed that I think was difficult remotely, but would have been similar or easier in person was designing new characters. I would have wanted to be next to Francisca when I'm having Francisca be in my story. She wants to go on vacation. I already had a character of Jess, so I was able to put Jess in my party. But I wanted to put Francisca in my party. Francisca wanted to go on vacation. So I wanted to like run around to go see her, but that would be a great opportunity for children collaborating in the same room.
Yeah, that's a super fun, like unique feature to Scratch Junior is the ability to use the camera feature and get your face in there, because Scratch Junior is not an online community. It's local to the app. And so projects stay there and they aren't getting sent off to the internet. And so kids can put their own faces in and they can customize their projects to be all about them, which is really exciting. We have many different kinds of curricula or activities that explore identity. And kids can make projects about themselves and put themselves in different characters. And that's a really fun way to use it. And so Francisca very smartly added that into the project because she wants to go on an adventure with Kat. All right. What else do we think? I wonder, Francisca, my question about sentence 2, Kat would love to learn how to dive. On your page, it looks like Kat's like already watching a diver. So how are we going to show that it wants to dive?
I think that I should have. Oh,
I hear you. You're good.
oh, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I got distracted from the other session. So yeah, I loved the idea of Kat watching this diver, right? But I should have done better in my writing text, maybe saying, oh, I want to learn how to do that. And that would have connected better with Tess's page when Kat is watching at this diver and the diver then is the teacher. So it would have connected better. But I think being in person, that communication piece, that's one of the behaviors we have, would have been better or easier to promote if kids are working next to each other.
But also I'll call out, so you've identified something that you want to improve, and that's like an opportunity for forgiveness, right? So you have to kind of forgive yourself. Yeah, you didn't do what you wanted to in the past. That's okay. We're going to move forward. We're going to persevere. You need to be able to kind of forgive yourself, or say Tess is really angry that Francisca's sentence didn't lead in properly. Tess maybe has to forgive Francisca too. So we're learning how to work together with this.
Yeah. I think that speaks also really well to the debugging process that children learn. We build these one sentence stories from the first sentence on. And then there's the forgiveness of, okay, well, maybe, we want to do this. I had this vision, it builds whatever. But then you sort of create also backwards. Okay, so we're going to be underwater. How do I see, okay, these are the characters you have underwater. Maybe I want to add some of them back in. Maybe I want to reflect on this piece backwards. And that being able to edit backwards in addition to editing forward, I think is a nice way to tie in some of that debugging.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got about 5 minutes left. So I'm gonna just go ahead and look at a few of the questions in the chat. But before I do, should we show our projects one more time?
Yeah.
Should we be proud of them? Okay, I'm gonna do it. Be ready. Have the tablets up. I'm gonna read it all the way through, like one sentence or one story. Okay. Cat is packing for a vacation. Cat would love to learn how to dive. Cat is going to a diving lesson on a boat. Cat explores the ocean. I want to go on vacation with Cat. We're all having an underwater party. Great. All right. Good job, everyone. Good job. Okay. So that is just a blip, an idea of how you could do this. Obviously, we wanted to do this virtually with everyone. We had to readjust, and that's okay. We worked through it, and that's fine. So anyways, here we are. And let me take a few questions. So I saw one, can be really quick, a question about parallel programming. So Bella, would you mind showing your page with parallel programming? What this is the idea of two programs running at the same time as one another. And when it's specifically with motion blocks in Scratch Junior, those motions combine to create something new. So Cat is moving to the side and up, and when we play it together using that green flag at the top, it's going to make it move diagonally. And so that's a fun new skill that we typically introduce maybe end of first grade and definitely in second grade. Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. And actually, I saw one. So right now with this, we had everyone just do one sentence on one page. But as we know, Scratch Junior does allow up to 4 pages. So if the kids want to have 4 sentences of a story, or maybe a run-on sentence of their story, they could use 4 of their pages, and then it could lead into the next thing. And so, you know what, actually, let me check for a few things, and I will just show one last video of an example of we have. And this is actually not a 1-sentence story, but another way to do multi-tablet activities. And this is just an example of there's simple ways to do it, and then there's also very, very complex ways. And so this is kind of we did this at a professional development, full disclosure. So we definitely had some help. But let me just get it up. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and end on this video to show you guys an example of how we can use multiple tablets, everyone working together to make these really cool combined projects. So let me go ahead and share my screen one more time. All right. So this video we created for the Lunar New Year. And it was everyone worked together. I won't give it away, but essentially it was celebrating the Lunar New Year with 10 iPads, I think. You'll see. So that's just an example of another way that you can make Scratch Junior collaborative. And in doing that, you're gonna have everyone's gonna have to work together and practice all of these positive behaviors and virtues and values that contribute to socio-emotional development. And I really want to thank all of the kind words in the chat. Thank you so much. We, had to work through some stuff in this session, and I really, really appreciate all the support from everyone. So I think that most of the links that have been requested are in the chat, but if not, we'll send them out in maybe an announcement or something. So thank you so much, everyone. And we're going to go ahead and conclude this session. Good luck bringing this to your classrooms.